Peter Parker built a device in Brand New Day that Bruce Banner immediately told him was too dangerous to exist. Peter ignored him, and if you know your MCU history, you know exactly how this ends. Tony Stark built Ultron to protect the world, a global peacekeeping AI that would make the Avengers unnecessary. He built it because he genuinely believed it would save lives. He was not wrong about the problem. He was catastrophically wrong about the solution, and Brand New Day just showed us Peter Parker making the exact same mistake. Not because he's reckless, not because he's arrogant, because he genuinely believes the device will save lives, and history has already proven what happens next. Here's what Peter actually built. His arachnid DNA is mutating in ways that produce unpredictable surges in his biological output. At his most unstable, he's a danger to the people around him. So he builds an inhibitor, a device designed to suppress his own powers whenever they become dangerously unstable, a safety measure, a failsafe for himself. That's the intent. That's the genuinely heroic impulse. Peter Parker, worried he might hurt someone, engineers a leash for himself. Then Jean Grey loses control across Manhattan. Thousands of people psychically overwhelmed. The city brought to a standstill. Peter sees a solution that nobody else can offer. He upgrades his personal inhibitor into something larger, a universal inhibitor, a piece of technology capable of suppressing the abilities of almost any superpowered individual. He uses it to stop Jean. He saves the city. He does the right thing in the moment. And Bruce Banner looks at what Peter built and immediately tells him it is far too dangerous to exist. Banner knows this. Banner knows this in a way that Peter doesn't yet, because Banner has spent decades being the person that dangerous technology gets built around. The gamma radiation, the Hulkbuster, the inhibitor device he uses on himself to maintain Professor Hulk. Banner has been the subject of 100 attempts to control, contain, and neutralize. He knows exactly what Peter's device looks like to the wrong eyes. Not a safety measure, not a heroic failsafe. A weapon. The most wanted weapon in the world for any organization that has ever needed to neutralize a superpowered person and lacked the means to do it. Peter ignores the warning, not out of arrogance, out of conviction. He believes the technology will be used correctly. He believes it will stay in his hands or the hands of people he trusts. He believes that because he built it for the right reasons will follow it wherever it goes. Tony Stark believed exactly this about Ultron, the Sokovia Accords, the Spider-Man surveillance drones he left to Peter. Every piece of technology Tony ever built came with the assumption that his intentions would outlast his control, that what he made would behave the way he meant it to. Tony was one of the most intelligent people who ever lived, and he kept making this mistake because intelligence doesn't protect you from the belief that you're the exception, that your technology is different, that your reasons are pure enough to override the reality of what you've created. Peter Parker is not Tony Stark. He's more selfless. He has fewer resources. He has no empire built around him to absorb the consequences when things go wrong, which means when his technology gets taken and used for something he never intended, there's no Stark Industries to absorb the liability, no team of lawyers to contain it, no PR apparatus to control the narrative. There's just Peter Parker in a small apartment with no name, unable to say publicly that he built the thing that's now being used to hurt people. If you're following what Brand New Day is setting up for the MCU's mutant era, subscribing means you get every breakdown as it develops. Now think about what just happened in New York from the perspective of everyone in the MCU who was watching. Jean Grey psychically possessed thousands of civilians simultaneously. She didn't mean to. She was losing control. She was suffering. But the people in the street who suddenly couldn't move their own bodies didn't know that. The government officials watching footage of a mutant bringing an entire city to its knees didn't know that. The senators and the lobbyists and the private military contractors who have been watching the X-Men's existence in the MCU with very specific interest didn't care about Jean's intent. They saw a mutant who nearly took over a city. They saw what a superpowered individual can do to a civilian population without a weapon, without a plan, without even trying. And they saw Spider-Man stop her. They saw the technology Spider-Man used to stop her. In X-Men 97, inhibitor collars were used to strip mutants of their abilities. The technology existed as a tool of oppression, a physical manifestation of the fear that superpowered people needed to be controlled rather than coexisted with. In the comics, the Sentinel program was constantly upgraded to detect, suppress, and eliminate mutant threats. The Weapon X program, the Mutant Response Division. Governments and corporations and extremist organizations have spent decades in Marvel Comics looking for one thing: a reliable way to neutralize mutant abilities without having to fight mutants one by one. Peter Parker just built it. A portable, functional, demonstrated device that suppresses the powers of any superpowered individual. Tested in the field against Jean Grey at near maximum output, confirmed to work. Now somewhere in a city full of surveillance cameras and intelligence operatives and people who have been waiting for exactly this breakthrough, the footage exists. The technology exists. Peter's inhibitor works. The organizations that want it don't need Peter to cooperate. They need the footage in a lab. They reverse engineer the principle. They mass produce it. They miniaturize it into something wearable, into a collar, into a bracelet mandatory for registered mutants, into an environmental system that law enforcement can activate in designated zones, into the baseline technology that makes the Sentinel program viable in a way it never quite was before, because before, suppression required a specialized system. Now there's a working proof of concept built by Spider-Man Spider-Man out of accessible components in real-world field conditions. The most heartbreaking part is that Peter would be devastated. He would look at what his technology became and feel it the way he feels every consequence of every choice that went wrong. He built it to save Jean. He built it so a tragedy wouldn't repeat. He built it for the same reason he's been Spider-Man in a city that forgot his name for 4 years. Because the right thing to do is the right thing to do. And you do it without asking for credit or considering the downstream. Tony Stark taught the MCU one lesson that it keeps having to relearn. It doesn't matter why you create something. What matters is who inherits it after you're gone. Tony's weapons funded a decade of warfare before he understood the cost. Tony's Ultron nearly ended the world. Tony's Edith nearly gave a teenager access to a drone army. Tony's good intentions kept producing consequences he didn't live to answer for. Peter doesn't even have Tony's resources to attempt to contain it. Peter has a homemade suit and a biology that's still mutating and no public identity. The universal inhibitor is out there now. The footage of it working is out there. And the Jean Grey incident has given every anti-mutant organization in the MCU the political cover they needed to start making the argument that mutant suppression is not oppression, it's public safety. You saw what happened in New York, you saw a mutant bring the city to its knees. Do you want to wait for the next one, or do you want to talk about solutions? Peter's invention is the solution they're going to point out. The MCU has been building the mutant era across multiple films. Brand New Day accelerated it. Jean Grey's incident scared the public. Peter's inhibitor gave the wrong people a technological foundation to act on that fear. And Peter Parker, the most consistently selfless hero in the franchise, is going to have to live with the knowledge that he handed humanity the missing piece of the machine that starts the war between humans and mutants. Not because he failed, because he succeeded, because he solved the problem in front of him the way he always solves problems, without hesitation, with everything he has, for the right reasons. The same reasons Tony Stark always had. The same reasons that keep producing the wrong outcomes when the technology outlives the intention. Peter Parker repeated Tony Stark's biggest mistake, and he did it for all the right reasons. That's what makes it the most Tony Stark thing Peter Parker has ever done. Go back to the specific moment Banner warns Peter, and Peter doesn't listen. Banner's argument isn't that the technology is flawed. He doesn't say it won't work. He says it's too dangerous to exist because once something like this is created, you can never control who gets their hands on it. That's not a theoretical concern. That's Banner describing his own origin. Someone wanted to recreate the super soldier serum. They used gamma radiation as a substitute. Bruce Banner is the result of that decision. A decision made by people who believed their intentions were good enough, who believed they were the right people to handle this. Decades later, that decision is still producing Hulks in various forms, still being weaponized by organizations that were nowhere in the room when the original choice was made. Banner looks at Peter's inhibitor and sees a timeline, not a device. He sees every version of what that device becomes in the next 20 years. The collar, the checkpoint, the mandatory registration. The moment a government official stands in front of a camera and says we're not asking mutants to give up their abilities permanently. We're simply asking them to register and accept monitoring conditions for the safety of everyone. And we have the technology to enforce this if necessary. Banner knows because he's been Banner for long enough to understand that nobody who builds a dangerous tool ever builds it for the person who eventually misuses it. Tony didn't build Iron Man for Justin Hammer. Tony didn't build Ultron for Thanos. Tony didn't build Edith for Mysterio. But all of those technologies found their way to people who used them toward ends Tony would have never authorized. The gap between the creator's intent and the tool's eventual application is where most of the damage in the MCU has been done. Peter's universal inhibitor is the most transferable, dangerous technology anyone in the MCU has produced since Tony's drones. It requires no special material. It requires no alien component. Peter built it from accessible parts under pressure in a city emergency. A government lab with dedicated resources could replicate it within months. A private military contractor with a captured unit and a decent engineering team could have a working prototype inside a year. And the political climate Brand New Day just created a city that watched Jean Grey possess thousands of civilians is the perfect environment for the argument that this replication is necessary. The Sentinel program in the comics was always looking for a technological edge over mutants. What it lacked was a reliable power suppression component. Physical Sentinels could find mutants and fight mutants, but they couldn't neutralize mutant abilities at the source without either killing the mutant or using systems that were too cumbersome and expensive to scale. Peter's inhibitor solves the scaling problem. A small, portable device that works in field conditions against a mutant at near maximum output. That's the missing piece. If Marvel is building toward a Sentinel program in the MCU, and the visual of Doom commanding the Sentinels in the Doomsday trailer suggests that Sentinels exist in some form in this universe, already Peter's universal. Inhibitor is the origin story of how they become viable at scale. Not Doom's technology, not government research. Peter Parker, in a Queen's apartment, solving an immediate problem for the best possible reasons, building the component that makes mass mutant suppression technologically feasible. He won't know. That's the tragedy of it. He'll know that he built the inhibitor. He'll know that Banner warned him. He won't know for a long time that his device became what it became. And when he finds out, when he's standing in a world where inhibitor technology is being used on children born with the X gene, when he's looking at a collar color that uses the same principle he developed in a city emergency, he'll feel it the same way he felt Aunt May die for a choice he made. The same way he felt the world forget him for a spell he asked for. Peter Parker is the person that consequences find. And this consequence is the largest one the MCU has ever quietly placed in his hands. Tony Stark's mistakes were loud. The Ultron press conference, the Sokovia aftermath, the Senate hearing. Tony failed publicly and answered publicly, and the franchise treated his failures as events. Peter's version of this mistake is going to be quiet. A device used in a field emergency. Footage that circulated through intelligence channels. A replication that happened in a facility Peter never heard of. And a world that was already afraid of mutants getting the tool it needed to act on that fear. He did it for all the right reasons. That's the most Tony Stark thing Peter Parker has ever done, and it's the most devastating